Cornelia, hi.
Hi, Greg.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Thanks for coming on today. Super appreciated.
Yeah, but pleasure. I'm excited about our conversation.
Good stuff. Well, look, I'm going to do the standard stuff. I'm just going to give you a bit of an intro. I've got your CV in front. It's intimidating and annoyingly impressive in actual fact, to be honest with you. So, and just forgive me if I leave out anything important, but I'm your head of M&A and capital raising for Refinitiv, multi-billion-dollar business, and you lead a $350 million investment banking business. You also look after academic business. Before that, you spent 12 years at Blackstone, which, as we know, is one of the world's largest asset managers. And you were global head of research there, market data, set up high-performing teams across multiple locations. You're a speaker at multiple events, and you've got a master's degree in political science. And because that wasn't enough, you also needed an MBA as well at Imperial College. So I'm not going to mention my failed A levels and asked to leave art college. That's just not important right now. I think don't even want to compare myself to you. But before I ask you any questions, I'm just going to do a shameless plug about Ally for those that are watching. So just to remind the people that are watching, Ally is basically our raison d'etre, is to support the recruitment and search community. And we do that in three specific ways. We deliver very well-trained, dedicated analysts. We have a dedicated customer success director that works directly for you, and they're ex-search. And the other area we particularly focus on is very, very stringent quality control processes. And we back up all our promises with a free discovery month. So shameless plug over. Now back to you, Cornelia. So when we were talking earlier, you used a couple of phrases which I really liked. And one was, just to quote you, building a team of superstars, and that sort of captured me. And the other one was you talked about your recruitment, your talent acquisition philosophy. So if you wouldn't mind just unpacking that a bit for us, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, Greg. Very, very happy to do that. So look, building a team, it's one of the hardest parts about managing a business because that team is the primary tool that you have to be able to execute your strategy and be successful. So, whatever challenges you're dealing with on the business side, financial, technology, people related, your team are the people that are going to solve those problems for you. And realizing that, I think, is really key to defining how you're going to shape your team and how you're going to go about recruitment. And my ambition in terms of hiring and building my team is really to hire a team of superstars. I want every person on my team to be better than I am. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a very high performing, a very heavy hitting group of individuals that are really going to help me both execute the existing strategy, but also bring new things to the table, right? I'm never under any illusion that I'm the smartest person in the room. So I rely on my team and my people, even people who are not my direct reports, but that exist in other type of stakeholder functions to really help drive the business forward. To surface new solutions. To surface new areas in terms of white space, in terms of new commercial opportunities, perhaps new technology solutions. So having that team of creative thinkers that are very capable, very independent and mature is that's a really key thing for me when it comes to recruiting. And look, the other aspect here is that it's not always without trepidation, right? Because you are exposing yourself a little bit. Like if you hire, a team of excellent people, there is a chance, that some of them really is gonna take your role one day. And for some people, that's a threat, and that's something that you need to work through. My view is very much the opposite, right? That if I want to evolve, if I want my business to evolve, then we need those excellent individuals. So, I'm never too worried about the risks in terms of hiring a team of superstars.
That makes absolute sense. So I'm just thinking of sort of slightly turning the conversation to, so obviously Ally, we support the search community. Mm-hmm. This is supposed to do is give them a sense of kind of what's going on inside your head. So if I was your search person in front of you and I was pitching, what are you looking for from an individual that's going to service that type of requirement? What do you need to see?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a very good question, right? And when I look to build out the team, there will always be some specific requirement in terms of either market experience. So it could be from a particular asset class, perhaps somebody who's experienced of debt capital markets. It may even be experienced from a particular competitor or group of competitors, or it can be a certain skill set, some kind of technical skill that we need to plug a gap within the team. So that there's always that element, right? But then what I also look for is not necessarily what I need from the role right now today, but I try and hire candidates that are going to grow and they're going to help move the business from where it is today to where it needs to go. And this is really the challenging part. And this is where a good search firm can be very, very important to help you achieve that. It's really identifying those candidates that are able to do more than what the role is right now. So with the right background, with the right technical skill set, with the right experience, but that also have room to grow and do something slightly different. And, a big part for me here as well is diversity, right? So, working in financial services, it is still not a particularly diverse industry, right? And I'm a firm believer in the fact that having a diverse team is going to lead to better decision making and also better business outcomes in the long run. So having the support of a search firm or a recruiter of some type that can help you sort of look at different candidates and think slightly outside of the box is very valuable as well. So those are some of the key aspects that I always look at. And then sort of the next stage after that is really looking then at character and personality. And, finding somebody that is going to be a good fit with the culture as well as with the rest of the team. Look, there are some people who are not suited to all types of organizations. And, I have in my career, I've made quite significant changes from, very distinct and very different cultures. And it has a very, very big impact, right? So there's a phrase which you probably heard quoted, which is culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? So identifying candidates that have a good cultural fit is really important. And it's not always very easy to do, right? So that's another area where a search firm can be very influential.
That's a really interesting point, and actually this is only our third session here, but that's become quite a theme on these conversations. So I'm going to ask you the same question I've asked the two others. Then, so how does the poor search person who's maybe only met you 2 or 3 times, how do they determine your culture? I mean, it's their job to go and find out. Obviously, it fits with the particular candidate, but what advice would you give to a search firm on determining culture in the client?
Yeah, so look, I think it's all about being very transparent, right? And as the search person, I would ask questions about it. I would purposely try and understand the culture because, these things are not always at the top of your mind, right? And some of these things are subconscious, particularly if you've been with a firm for a very long time. You assume that some of those cultural aspects are just par for the course, when in fact, they may be quite specific to your organization. So, if the person you're working with isn't being very explicit around the cultural aspects, I would certainly ask about it, and really try and draw it out. It's it shouldn't be underestimated for sure.
I mean, there's almost too many themes in there. For just to recap, you've got people who've got the ability to grow within the role. You've got cultural relevance / fit. You've talked about slightly alternatives, some unusual sort of candidates, perhaps traditional fields. There's plenty there for our community, and thank you so much, Cornelia. I think that's probably all we've got time for. It's a short session, so massively appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure, Greg.
Okay, take care.